Good morning, students. This is 8th Science, chapter number 15, the night sky. Today we are going to start with satellites. So, children, satellites, they are the family member of the solar system. They are small celestial bodies. They are small heavenly bodies that revolve around the planets. And you know that Earth's natural satellite is Moon, because Moon, it revolves around the Earth, right? So here we are going to talk about the Earth's natural satellite, that is Moon. And then we will talk about the phases of Moon. So let's start with the Earth's natural satellite, the Moon. The Earth has one moon or one natural satellite. It is about 1/4 of the size of Earth. It is 1/4 of the size of Earth. And children, it is made up of rock, and there are big craters, means there are big you can say holes on its surface, which were formed due to the hitting of the meteorites, right? And children, the moon is at a distance of about 3,84,400 kilometers from the Earth. Yes. Now, this moon is a non-luminous object, means it does not have its own light. It is not a source of light. But then too you will say that, ma'am, no, at night we can see the moon shining. It shines because, children, it is reflecting the light of the sun. When sun's light falls on the moon, it reflects the light, and because of which the moon becomes visible to us. The area of the moon on which the sun's light falls, that area becomes visible to us. That area lights up, right? It becomes bright, and that is visible to us from the earth, right, children? So moon, it does not have its own light. It reflects the light of the sun, and it rotates on its axis, क्योंकि axis पे rotate करता हुआ earth के round revolve करता है. Okay, now do you know that moon, we say we see different shapes every night, right? This is because the sun lights up different part of moon as it circles around the earth, and only we can see the lit side of the moon, the bright side of the moon. Because of this shape of the bright part of the moon from the which is seen from the earth, we get the phases of the moon. On the part of the moon on which the sun's light falls, that gets lit up, that gets bright, and that we are able to see from the earth. So we can see the different phases of the moon, right? So let's start with the different phases of the moon. The first phase is new moon. The first phase is new moon. So children, new moon is when the moon is exactly between the earth and the sun, right? So the part of the moon which is on the side of the sun, that will be bright, but we will not be able to see that part. The side of the moon which is towards the earth, that is dark, that is no light over there. So what do we see? We see dark, entire dark moon, which we call it as Amavasya, means we are not able to see moon. When is it? When the moon is exactly between the earth and the sun. So the part of the moon which is towards the earth, it does not receive light and we cannot see it, and we call it as new moon or Amavasya. So please underline this: when the moon is between earth and the sun, We cannot see it at all and we call it as new moon or Amavasya. This is the photo of new moon. Next, now for after about 2 to 3 days, a small portion of moon becomes visible and this is known as the crescent moon, right beta? Then after a few more days, you will see that about little more portion of the moon increases, right? Bright portion of the moon increases and we can see about half, we can see moon as a semicircle. So जब आधा moon आपको दिखता है, that we call it as first quarter. When half moon is visible, we call it as first quarter. Next is when more than half, you can call it as 3/4, right? When more than half, that is 3/4 of the moon is visible, we call it as gibbous moon. We call it as gibbous moon, right beta? Next, when the full lit portion of the moon is visible to us, when we see the moon as a complete circle, we call it as Purnima or it is full moon. So children, this cycle, it takes 15 days from reaching to new moon till from missed from new moon and then again it starts, right? So the time period between one new moon and the next new moon, so this complete is about 29 days. So our months, they are of 29 days on an average. That is, it depends upon the, if you see the Hindi calendar, then you will see that the Hindi calendar is based on the phases of the moon, right? Now children, let's talk about stars. Stars, they are also the family members of the solar system. Sun is also a star, and star, they are luminous bodies, means they have the light of their own. And we know that they are made up of hydrogen, right? They are made up of hydrogen, and this hydrogen, because of the constant reactions taking place in the core of the stars at very high temperature, it gets converted into helium. And when hydrogen is converted into helium, a lot of heat and light energy is released. And it is this light energy that the star emits, and because of which the star, they are visible or they are the source of light. Star के पास light कहाँ से आई? Stars, they are made up of hydrogen, and in the center of the stars, because of the high temperature, hydrogen is converted into, chemical reaction takes place, hydrogen is converted into helium. Along with this helium, a large amount of heat and light energy is released, and this light energy makes the star luminous, right? So that is there. And next we are going to talk about, we see children a group of stars in the sky. These groups are galaxies, right? There are about 100 billion galaxies in the universe. Our galaxy name is Milky Way, or you can call it Akash Ganga, right? So how many 100 billion galaxies are there, right? Each galaxy contains about 100 billion stars. Okay, so it is a broad band of light that looks like a trail of milk spread across the sky. So our Milky Way, it looks like milk which is spread across the sky. So it is named as Milky Way. Now, the children, distance traveled by light in 1 year. The distance traveled by light in 1 year is known as the light year. When from sun, the light is traveling. So how much distance that light travels in 1 year in the Milky Way, in the galaxy? So 1 light year, it is not time. If you see year, you will say, ma'am, time hai. No, light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. So please do not get confused with this. So 1 light year is about 9.46 into 10 to the power 15 meter. So 10 to the power 15. So see how many zeros you're going to put with 9.46, 15 zeros, right? So it is a huge distance. So it is the distance traveled by the light in 1 year, which is called light year. Very, very important, children. Please mark that part, right? Now, next is children, that stars, they appear to move from east to west because of the rotation of earth from west to east. Right, children? This is simple. Now we are going to talk about, there is one star which appears to be stationary, right? It is like, what do? You take your umbrella, and at the center of the axis which you are going to hold, right? Suppose this is your umbrella. This is the center part of the umbrella. Right, something like this. Now what we are doing is, we are putting here stars. Here, let me change the color of the star. Here we are putting stars. Right. So children, when you rotate the umbrella, and we are putting the star at the center also. So children, when you rotate this umbrella, you will see that the position of the blue color stars, it will change as you are rotating it, right? Uski position change hogi. But the position of the green color, that is pole star, Polaris or Dhruv Tara, it will remain stationary. If you rotate the umbrella, umbrella के axis को पकड़ो and you rotate it, you will see that the green color star will remain there only. So this is exactly what happens. The earth, it is revolving around this green color axis, and on that axis we are having this star. So when earth rotates, this star appears to be stationary. So that star is known as your pole star, or you can call it Dhruv Tara. Yes, you might have heard about that. Now, very important part of the chapter, we are going to talk about constellations. So children, this you might have done, that during the night you just see the stars in the sky and you just frame them, that see, if we connect these stars, it forms a picture, it forms a pattern, right? You will say that fish ban raha hai, it is a bear, it is a court, right? So you form different patterns in the night sky. So there are about 88 patterns which have been discovered by the astronomers so far, and this group of stars which forms a recognizable pattern, they are known as constellations. So let's talk about few constellations are there in your science book. So we are going to talk about 4 constellations in your science book. The first one is Ursa Major. The first one is Ursa Major. Major means big. So the Hindi word for it is Virat Saptarishi. Right? It is Virat Saptarishi. Sapt means 7. So Ursa Major, children, it consists of 7 bright stars. Virat means बहुत बड़े stars, bright, right? And they assemble. कैसा picture बना रहे हैं? They are forming a picture of a big spoon, right? These 3 stars. Sorry, I included the 4th one also. These 3 stars, that is the 3, they form the handle of the spoon, and these 4 stars together, they form the bowl of the spoon, right? So handle and the bowl of the spoon. So there are total 7 stars and they resemble a big spoon. They resemble, children, a big spoon. They are also known as this Ursa Major. That is your Virat Saptarishi is also known as Big Dipper. It is also known as Big Dipper, because dipper in olden days it was used for large spoons, right? There are many names. See, you are having another name, that is Great Bear. Because if you include some more stars in it, it forms the shape of a bear. Right? Pole star can also be located with the help of Ursa Major. अगर आपको pole star की position जाननी है, you can do that with the help of Ursa Major. What you need to do is a straight line you have to draw through the two stars at the top of the Ursa Major, passing through the pole star. So if you draw a straight line through the top two stars, you will find a pole star in its axis. Ursa Major, children, underline this part. Ursa Major is visible in the northern part of the sky during April to September, means during summers, right? Now let's talk about Ursa Minor. Minor matlab chota. So Laghu Saptarishi. So it is also made up of 7 bright stars, right? It is known as, this was known as Great Bear. This is known as Lesser Bear. And it is difficult to spot this. It is difficult to see the star, right? Now, next constellation is Orion. Next constellation is, children, Orion. Orion, which is known as Vyadha or Mrigha. Mrigha means deer. Mrigha means deer, right? So here we are going to talk about this Orion star. It looks like a hunter. Okay, it looks like a hunter. So I will help you to find it out because the diagram is very faded. So I will just figure out for you. It is a very important constellation. It has 7 to 8 bright stars. The middle 3 stars represents the belt of the hunter. Right? So if you see the diagram, let me zoom the diagram for you. Just a second. Okay. Yes. Okay. So children, these 3 stars okay, I think now it's okay. Yes, now it's perfect. Fine. So children, these 3 stars, they are forming, they are representing the belt of the hunter, right? Then at the bottom, you can see the 4 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? These 4 stars, they are forming a quadrilateral, right? And here you can see that this forms the head of the hunter, and here something like bow and arrow. This will form arrow, and this will form the bow. So it looks like the hunter is holding a bow and an arrow. So it resembles a hunter. The 3 middle stars, it represents the belt of the hunter, and the lower 4 stars, they forms the quadrilateral. Right? Now, with the help of this constellation, children, a brightest star in the sky, that is Sirius, or you can call it as Sirius, is, you can locate it, right? And it is located close to this Orion constellation. So children, if you draw a straight line through the middle 3 stars of the Orion, means if through the belt you are drawing a straight line like this, if you draw a straight line like this, then on this will lead you to the star, that is Sirius, right? And Orion, children, it is visible during the winter season. It is visible during the winter season, right? That is, it is visible in the late evening. It is visible in the late evening during the winter season, right? Now, last constellation is Cassiopeia, right? This Cassiopeia, or it is also known as Sarmishta, right? It is made up of 5 bright stars. The bright stars are arranged in the form of W or M. The bright stars, they are arranged in the form of either you call it as W or you call it as inverted M, right? It is seen near the pole star and it is visible in the month of October in the northern sky, right? So this is it, children.